Alright guys, what is going on? This is MStack. I am here with a run defense video. I've been seeing in the community a lot of people are really struggling with run defense. They think the run is OP. The run is too difficult to stop. The run is difficult to stop, don't get me wrong. These abilities make it super hard to stop with the bruiser, the arm bar, jukebox, all this stuff. But I think the big problem right now is that everybody thinks that there's just one-size-fits-all run defense. That's this kind of fantasy world that we're living in where we think that that's how it works. It's not going to be the same setup for every single running formation. Some run formations are overloaded to the right. Some are overloaded to the left. Heavy Panther is just super compressed and just a super heavy run formation. So you're going to need to set your defense up slightly different each time. Like I said, there's no one size fits all. So I'm going to break down in this video the formation and the play I've been using to stop the run. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to show you a few different techniques that I use during, when the ball is snapped, if they make adjustments to the run, what I do and adjust my defense. So 3-4 odd is the formation. The play is going to be the pinch dog 2 press. I'm going to come out against the wing flex close. I'm in the Oakland Raiders playbook on offense because I think it has the best combination of single back and heavy runs to really show off this defense. So we're going to come out and stretch. I have the dive as my audible. Now, let's just take a look at the shell of this play. It's a cover 2 play. The reason I like cover 2 is because it puts those corners into run fits. It helps you set the edge on the outside runs. It also has 5 players blitzing, which this is essentially a 5-2. But we have a little bit more versatility than a 5-2 because we can individually shift our defensive line and our linebackers at any point. And then we can drop some athletic linebackers on the outside edge into coverage, and they're not in a 3-point stance. So that's why I use this. My setup, it always starts with a baseline press against every single formation that's like a heavy formation. The reason being is I want these corners out wide and I want them down close to the line so that they can run down and set the edge on these outside runs. Now, basically the idea behind run defense is controlling the gaps and controlling the line of scrimmage. So this formation in particular is a little bit heavier to the right than it is to the left. The left has 2 receivers blocking, whereas the right side has 2 tight ends blocking, plus they are on the line of scrimmage. So our focus for the point of attack on defense is going to be to that right side and the middle. So the only adjustments I really make, I don't do anything super crazy. I'll crash down because I think it gives you better run fits, and I'll shift my line to the side of the run. Now, against this particular formation, since they do have a toss out to the left, I will sometimes spread my linebackers. I don't think you necessarily have to. The technique that I like to use when I play against like these unbalanced sets, and this one in particular, is I'll use the backside safety. The linebackers will typically, this linebacker here will be free because we already have guys blitzing and eating up these blockers. At the snap of the ball, I'll be in that range of the offensive line for where they recognize me and go to block me. And this is really tough to do with 2 controllers, but I kind of turn my butt and just make the lineman chase me. It's also, when your back is turned to these linemen, it's harder for them to block you and get hands on you. So say, for whatever reason, that Zeke Elliott's able to get out of the backfield here. Right now, I'm currently unblocked, and he won't be able to block me in the back. So if this halfback breaks out of the backfield, goes left or right, then I can make that touchdown saving play. But as you can see, right there, we got a really weird, this will happen sometimes too, because I think the D line and the blocking is just so inconsistent in this game. This guy will shoot in free. You'll see that this linebacker, he should have probably come down and attacked, but it's all good because this other linebacker is going to eat up a blocker here. And then we have our outside corner setting the edge. So we've created this funnel, right, where he has to cut this upfield and run into our free guy. Now let's go ahead and set that up again because it's not always going to work like that. Crash down, shift the line to the strong side, snap of the ball, show him the butt, and boom. The D lineman came in free again. This run is pretty much boxed, right? All we do is shift to the strong side. I'm standing there just shadowing the halfback. I don't like the idea of shooting the gap with your safety because if you happen to miss the tackle, you are the last line of defense, so you will get scored on probably. So that solves our issue of the run to the right. The dive. Show him the butt or show him your side. Wait for him to make the cut. The dive is so effective just because you can take off either direction with this dive. I'm going to not be able to use the safety here, but you'll see with the dive. Ooh, that was a stretch. In 1 second. Forgot the audible. All right. Baseline press, crash down, shift right. All right. The dive, you can take off the edge out here, in which case our corner does a really good job of coming down and attacking the run. And we can go up the middle. Can't go to the left side because that linebacker's there. And that run probably would have got stopped for less yards if I had been using my guy. So these two runs are now boxed. What about the stretch to the left? Now, the basic stretch to the left is not very good against this particular alignment because that corner is going to be free 100% of the time. We should be able to scrape over with our user and give him a little bit of help. If they do... Oops, I was baselining with the wrong controller. So if they do something like this, which is typically what happens, is they'll get shut down to the right, they'll run the stretch to the left, now with an extra tight end blocker. Let's go ahead and do this the right way and actually flip the run first. So they'll flip the run, motion a tight end over. If you see this, all you got to do is shift your line. Now you're lined up perfectly. Snap of the ball, corner's free, linebacker's completely untouched. We ate up a blocker, we did our job. This 48 right here doesn't get blocked. Right? So now, I mean, this whole formation, the runs at least, are pretty much boxed. So let's go to a heavier run formation because I really have no trouble stopping the runs from this formation whatsoever. I'll show you the ones that actually are a little bit more difficult to stop with this defense, and that's going to be the where is it? I form H wing and this strong tight flipped glitch. Now it's really difficult to do the flip glitch, or it's not really a glitch, it's just a thing that's in the game, with two controllers, so I'm going to do my best. We're going to call the stretch and make sure ISO is my audible, good. So against a formation like this is like a super heavy, right? Think of this as like a sumo wrestler. Like this is the only way that this could be more heavy is if there was no wide receiver and we're in gun heavy panther. So same setup to start, baseline, press, crash the line down, shift the line. Now, they really want to get to this outside on this formation. This tight end has outside leverage over top of our linebacker. So I like the spread a little bit more. Slide this guy out. And I'll sometimes use this safety, but I prefer to just use this linebacker here. What you want to do, your job as this linebacker is to prevent the cutback. You have this outside run boxed. You have enough defenders out here to set the edge. What we're afraid of is that cutback up the middle. All right, so cutback up the middle. I just kind of shadow. I don't go and shoot a gap because if I shoot a gap and I make a mistake, he's gone. We control the line of scrimmage. We've got our 5 guys. This outside linebacker's eating up 2 blocks right now. That's beautiful. That's exactly what we want. Not going to happen every single time. Sometimes they'll peel off a little bit earlier and get to that linebacker. But now we're in a situation where this blocker is in no man's land. There's nothing he can do to get this corner. We get a shed on the tight end. We have a good linebacker. If you have a good linebacker matched up against the tight end, like a good block shedding linebacker, you're going to get more wins than not. All right. The problem is when these tight ends are able to climb to the second level, or excuse me, the third level, and get to the safety or get to the corner on the edge, then you're in trouble. So we have backside pursuit. We've got the shed up the middle. We've got the corner on the outside. And my user still is not blocked. He's kind of caught up in the muck, but he's not blocked. So that outside run shut down. Typically what you'll see from people when they see that look is they'll go to the ISO. So baseline press, crash down, shift right. You can spread or you can push this guy out wide. Now, the other quick note is if they see this and they look at your previous play, they are going to try to take a shot deep if they have a fast receiver. So kind of best practice would be maybe to drop this safety back if you have the time. If this is a solo side receiver and if he's in this formation, he is, this soft squat, unless they have a flat route underneath, is going to snap to man coverage. So you don't have to worry about it terribly if you have good coverage guys that are fast. But if you don't and you see a mismatch, just be aware. If it's Tyreek Hill out there against Richard Sherman, obviously you need to move your safety out. That's going to be a priority. But they're typically what they're going to do is call this ISO. They're either going to flip it or run it up the middle. Let's just flip it because that's what I would do. And when they flip it, we're this linebacker. All right, show them the butt, show them the butt. Make that fullback attack me. Now what we have is a scenario where we get a block shed or we get this middle linebacker untouched. Linebacker got touched. We get a block shed. This safety is free. This safety is going to get blocked, but now we have our user showing in the butt. We could wrap around after we get that initial push from the fullback and make that tackle if he does happen to break that block shed or there's no block shed there. So I'm not terribly afraid of the dive up the middle. It's usually not a home run hitting play regardless. Let's just run it one more time. Go ahead and flip it. Show him the butt, show him the butt. Let me just kind of let him run into our defenders. They're going to have to live with that. They're going to have to be content with taking those few yards. Not everybody will. Patient runners will. But guys that are just looking to hit those home runs just will not. Let's go ahead and look at the strong eye. I treat the strong eye very similar to that I-form H-wing. I'm going to try to simulate that flip glitch. So if you see this formation like this, your first adjustment is going to be this. But they're going to flip it. So all you have to do is quickly shift over to that side, move the safety out, click on this linebacker. And now, right here, we're standing in the hole. Make him make a move. Us and our user and the safety are right there. So that's two players that should be gang tackling this halfback. Plus, we have this backside safety coming in eventually as just kind of a safety valve, but you can't really count on him to really make a play. But right here, as soon as you get into the hole, I should have squared up with left trigger, but it's kind of hard to do with two controllers. Square up, get like strafe with the halfback, let him run into you and press A. You get a conservative tackle, even if he arm bars you or whatever, he has to then deal with this second player coming in to make the tackle. So now you have got two guys trying to contain the best halfback in the game. It usually works. Let's do it one more time. All right, we think it's going to that side. They're flipping. Boom. You can even spread. Against this formation, they don't really run the dive too much. So you can spread the linebackers. Let's just go ahead and motion this guy in real quick. And sometimes you get that gap shoot. When we crash down, sometimes you get that immediate free runner. And that's what I like about this formation. It really, like, if you run this offense and you see that happen a couple times, you immediately just don't want to run the ball anymore. So if they go to dive, it's the same deal. I'm using backside safety. Show them the butt. Well, that time I got washed a little bit. That free side, or the strong side safety, comes in and makes the play. Now that's not ideal. That didn't look too good. That was a little scary. It's hard, like I said, it's hard to user this stuff. Do everything at once. We're gonna go dive. Show them the butt. Boom. Now everything's boxed up. That looks really scary if you're running through the hole. Like if you see that hole and you see my guy just standing free. Like you see this, typically guys will try to bounce this other directions, and that's when you shadow with the halfback. Now, the other thing that people aren't doing enough is they try to run and go make the play themselves. And a lot of times they just over pursue. So it's going to be, like I said, a little difficult to do this. But the thing I've been doing is I'll get them running in the direction of the run, and then I'll click off. And then when they get into that spot right close to the ball carrier, I'll click back on and make the tackle. So this is stretch. I'll do this, and I'll click back on to the guy closer and then go make the tackle. It just gets that safety in a running animation going towards the ball instead of his normal back pedal or fan out wide or whatever he does that's not conducive to stopping the run. That's going to be it for this video. I'm going to go into another video against Gun Heavy Panther because that's a special case. Check that out. It's going to be a little bit shorter than this. I'm sorry for the length of this video, but I think it really needed to be explained, and there's some little nuances to run defense that people aren't really aware of and they're not really utilizing. Also, check out Playbook GG. They have some other little tips that are really good against stopping the run that I use, but I'm not going to give them out for free because that is a paid site. Really good content. Check them out, playbook.gg.